Good evening, everyone. Yeah, thanks for coming again to our weekly session of Entrepreneurship Impacts. So today we have Asier here. So he just started his entrepreneurships not too long ago. So let's see what he can share with us today. So Asier, anything that maybe you'd like to introduce about yourself?
Okay, so I think I will introduce based on the people I actually invited. So I have people from Malaysia who I met in secondary school, and then I have people from my church, Alex, and then I have people that I met in a personal development course or Asia work. A lot of them, I think, and then I have people that I met in NS from my own company to other people's company or the people that I've worked with before. And the reason why I started doing whatever I'm doing is because I want to write for living. And then as I write, I was exploring more topics and then one thing led to another. I first learned copywriting, and then from copywriting I went to learn branding and marketing, and slowly I dived into what is that called? Logo design. And that's when I approached Tony, and then we sort of have a lot of discussion on the logo that I designed for him because I insisted on the designs and they also insisted on the design, and that's when we slightly have a crash and to some extent the chemistry, and that's why he invited me today to talk about branding itself. Yeah.
Oh, so yeah, it's basically started from branding, everything, and also design from
Yeah.
your. So like,
Yes.
what keeps you motivated like to start your entrepreneurship at the start?
I think it's the idea where I feel that when more of when I, for example, why I learned writing is because I like to help people express themselves. More of I first started to express myself and I have a taste of it, and I slowly helping other people to express themselves through writing. And from writing, and I learned about logo design. And logo design is a part of branding that would help people to represent themselves. And when I see people being represented in a way that is appropriate or in a way that is distinctive enough for them, it makes me feel very fulfilled, and that keeps me going doing what I want to do.
Oh, that's great. So
Yeah.
how do you find your journey so far? Like, since you are quite new in this industry.
I'm still exploring most of the stuff, and I would say it's a learning experience for me because I just started out and I learned everything from online. I sign up courses, I approach people to sort of mentor me, giving me perspective. Like I approached one of my church friends to teach me about graphic design. I approached a writer itself from my personal development course to teach me on copywriting and writing itself. And I also attend a lot of seminars, and from all these courses, from all this learning, it keeps me motivated and keeps me going to want to use whatever I have learned to help other people. Yeah.
So like, let's say maybe like 3 to 5 years down the road, is there any like end goal you like to achieve so far?
I want definitely one of the biggest goal that I have right now is to write a fiction, and it talks about identity. And identity is this topic of identity is very similar with branding, because branding is about your gut feeling about the program. It's about the brand's identity itself. And that's the very first thing that I want to achieve. And from there, I want to extend out to explore different stuff to help people express themselves and do their branding in terms of business. Because if we put it in a business context, it becomes branding. But if we make it into our personal life, it's about identity. Yeah.
So is it like you want to leave your legend, your legacy in the future, like to your children or?
Oh, I'm not gonna call it a fun fact, but my biggest vision in life is to create something that's timeless. And how I see timeless or how I refer timeless is Bible. So I hope that somehow I can write a masterpiece that is as timeless as Bible. Yeah.
So far, how was the journey so far? What's your common difficulty you have faced that you
I
can?
think my common difficulty that I face is my clients most of the time, because I have my own belief, because I went to study and I went to explore and learn from the expert in the industry. But when I approach my clients, they do not have that field of knowledge, and it's up to me to enroll them, to let them see what's possible, what's better for them. For example, I'm gonna talk about my clash with Tony. A logo a logo is the very first representation of a brand, and it requires to be simple, appropriate, and distinctive. And when it's simple, it may seem not up to the value that people may pay for a logo. And for example, when you just go search Google, you search meditative program or a health program, every logo that shows up is green and it's about human figure, it's about growing, and that doesn't make you stand out at all. And it requires me to tell my clients that this is not the way to go if you want to stand out in the market, because you have to be different. But somehow, based on our education system, we are not taught to stand up. Like, I will talk about a very simple example on in terms of parenting. How are we teaching our child next time? Or based on my own experience, we are always being rewarded when we follow the rules. Like when we do something good, then we will reward the child off, and then let the child learn from our rewards. And it's called positive reinforcement, but I would say it's not done in a way that serve people to be creative or serve people to do something that's out of the norm or stand out. Because people tend to find those rewards when they follow rules, they follow the norms. And when they follow the norms, they don't stand out. And if you don't stand out in the market, you can't survive. And when I create a logo for people, I'm standing from a point of view where people actually can stand out because they are distinctive enough. That's why this is something that I have to keep communicating with my clients and tell them that a simple logo, a extremely different logo, but very relevant to whatever you are doing, it would serve you better in terms of branding, in terms of your logo design. Yeah.
That's very accurate about follow the rules that we have been taught since young.
Yeah.
So do you have any tricks how to make yourself stand up from your industry?
The slogan or the tagline that I put in the poster, I write be unapologetic of who you are or what makes you you, because that sets you apart and that makes you different from other people. I think we can all agree that each of us here are extremely different from one another, but somehow we don't stand up. And the reason is very simple, because we are taught to be a certain image. We are taught to follow the norms, and we are taught to not be ourselves in essence. And because it's like we are living in a society that when we use certain image when we portray certain image, we tend to get certain things easier and faster. But as we try to become someone else, we are already follow the norms. So I would say the very easiest way is to start being yourself, your identity, and know who you are and know your value, your mission, and your vision. When you can answer these questions on who you are, and that's when you can shape an image, that's when you can brand yourself in a certain way that makes you stand out.
Yeah, that's great. So far, in these current situations, COVID situations, is it affecting your business or your outreach of the customers?
I would say COVID is not the main factor that people follow the rules. I mean, we have to follow what government tell us to do and stay at home. That's for sure, because that's for our benefit. And this idea that we have to follow the norms and we have to do certain way or be certain way is already embedded with us since we are young. So I wouldn't say the current situation make the business more difficult. If it ever makes a situation more difficult, is in terms of communication. It takes extra effort to communicate with the people because we are confined to this laptop or this screen, this online platform, and sometimes it requires people to have face-to-face interview, face-to-face communications to let other people understand what I'm coming from. Yeah.
So do you use any extra effort to kind of like how to outreach to more customer or like brand yourself in these situations?
Not exactly. I'm more of doing the same. I write blogs about logo design, and when I approach people, when I approach clients, I first tell them what they can do better or what like a simple tweak immediately that can stand out. And I'm still doing all this to get people to understand because I think we have to start from awareness first before I have to start from awareness first before I even get them to realize that there is a better way for them to stand out from the rest. Yeah.
So basically, the current trend is like there's not much difference compared to what you have been doing before the lockdown. Am I right to say that?
Yeah. Yes.
So like let's say like in the future, are you going to have some others trend or some others strategy of how do you able to extend your business?
So right now, I don't think I am actively extending out my business because the fuel that keeps me going is really on value adding to other people. So I will start from my own community in these few years time and get people to see differently on themselves and on other people and on their business before I even reach out to other people. Because if I think this is something that is good, this is something that is value adding to people, I would start from the people I care, and that is a lot of people here.
Yeah, you have proven the result. It's great. So moving forward, like let's say if someone who wanted to start their own entrepreneurship also, like do you have any things to advise them? Like what's your lesson learned so far?
I actually learned this like not long ago, or more of it's a different ways to phrase practice more. It's called fail early. So when you fail early, you learn the lesson earlier. So I would really encourage people to fail earlier and practice their skill, and from there you move on because I think based on scientific research, we are all gonna live to 100 years. So it's really, I mean, failure is something that is difficult to face. Only fools romanticize it, but there are a lot of meanings there are a lot of lessons we can learn from failure, and that's where we build our foundation. And I would really encourage new entrepreneurs to fail earlier and pick up from there and learn. And I would also say that be yourself. And I think this cliche have this weird vibe on it when people say be yourself. And I would say a lot of people don't even know who they are before they want to be themselves. So I would encourage people to really understand why they are doing certain things and ask themselves questions that think about their futures. For example, like I have this phone call recently with my friends, and he had asked me this question, and it's like what you asked me also just now. Like in 5 years' time, in 10 years' time, where I see myself going, and right now where I see myself going. When you set certain goals, when you understand your intention in doing certain things, that's when you start to understand yourself. And when you understand yourself, and then choose, it's a choice, choose to be yourself, that's when you can stand up from the rest. And that's in terms of branding, if I were to give advice to people who just start out their business.
Okay, that's great. So I have last question. Last question for you. So it's basically like other than encouraging people how to start up. So all this is any common failure or common difficulty for you to even step out your comfort zone to start in this journey so far. Like what would you advise them?
Yeah, don't be afraid of failing, and never be afraid of asking support. And I think we are living in a culture that when we ask for support, it seems that we are weak. And it's something that is, I would say, I'm still trying to get people, even myself sometimes, to understand that when you get support from other people, when you learn from other people, when you get mentorship from other people, it's not gonna make your worth any lesser. And so when you after you know yourself, the next step will be really get a good teacher, get mentor to really guide you in your life, in not just your business. Because if you only success in your business, you can hardly get the so-called happiness. And if you get the so-called happiness, the fulfillment, and you don't succeed, you can't really go anywhere also. And that's when a mentor come in. And I would really encourage people to go to look for a mentor, go look for a coach to guide them to in terms of their business and their personal life.
Okay, thank you. So now I would like to open the questions to the ground. Like anyone would like to ask question to Asier. Right.
Diana, can I ask for this? Okay.
Gabriel?
Answer. Okay, ask question. Okay, hi Asier. Just want to ask you a question. We are both of us are pretty young people, right? So when you're doing a business, when you do business, for example, a lot of the older folks will try to put you down. Say, hey, I'm 40 years old. I know about this. Like your business will not work. How do you change your impression of change your impression of a young person so that people can take you seriously? That's one of my questions for you. How do you change the impression of older people that they do not take you like a young boy, but treat you seriously, like as if they are treating their peers or their fellow business people in their same level?
It definitely takes extra effort to get people older than me, or to get people who are more mature, more experienced than me to listen to me. And ultimately, it is a choice to enroll them, to make them open to see where we are coming from. I believe if your intention is correct, if you know what you are doing, if you understand your worth, and you communicate in a way that is effective enough to the so-called more experienced, to the so-called older people, they will definitely listen to you. And from what I understand, or maybe I'm just fortunate enough to meet a lot of so-called older people, more experienced people to actually listen to me. Yeah, and they are very open. Most of the successful people, most of the experienced generation, they understand the importance of being open, because time keeps changing in a ways that no one is constantly experienced, because there are always new things coming up and there are always new things to learn. And that doesn't mean that when they are experienced, when they are in this industry for very long, they know everything. That's when I come in to give them a young perspective, a new perspective, a less old perspective for them to consider. And it's another skill on persuasion really, to get people to see from your perspective. I hope I answer your question.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Okay, I have one question here. Okay, now my turn. Okay, I have one question here. So I just want to ask, okay. So in the journey of your entrepreneurship, right, correct? I believe you face rejections. So how you manage the rejection? I mean, based on your this subconscious and conscious mind, and based on your energy. I mean, no, so that you can move on with that. So how do you manage your this mindset and all these things, because you're very new, so these are the challenges that you will face, right? Correct? How you manage it?
Somehow a lot of people have been asking me this question recently. um, it's first of all, rejection doesn't define you. I think everyone should know that when people say no to you, doesn't mean you are worthless or anything alike. And somehow I have been having this mindset when people reject me, it's just gonna go to the next step. Thank you, next. And I move on to the next person.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a question, the panel there, like what will you advise to give people who just started their entrepreneurship journey?
Oh.
Answer that.
Okay, so I will just repeat whatever I said just now because I know Ivan is busy. He's really busy, and thank you, Ivan, for coming here. I gave two advices just now. One is first, be yourself and understand where you are coming from and understand your intention in doing your work, your business, and from there you stand out in the market because when you are being yourself, you are already different from the rest. And that's first advice. And second advice, I think you heard it so. Second advice is fail earlier. Because when you fail earlier, that gets you practice more. And that gets you exploring different stuff and take effective action and grow from there. And when you fail earlier and sort of practice more afterwards, it will build your foundation in your business and you can easily grow from there in long run.
Yourself.
I have a question. So I understand that having your own business or being a freelancer would mean that you have to be self-disciplined. So how do you recommend, or do you have any tips on maintaining self-discipline?
I only have one tip that served me the most. I realized it is very helpful when you set alarms. Like I know a lot of people schedule their days and they put in their calendars like from this time to this time they do something, from this time to this time they do something. But somehow they are still on their phone or somehow they are still doing other stuff that is not what they have scheduled. But when you actually put an alarm and when your phone actually rang, you would feel pressured to go to do the things that you have already scheduled in terms, or rather just shy away from what you have scheduled. So I would say set alarms.
Okay, thank you.
Set you far.
I have a question to ask.
Yes.
What if you fail later? You said earlier, right? What if you fail later, at the later part in your life? Like those who are much older than you are quite young. What advice can you give to people who have failed in the later part of their life?
So I think this question is really about on how we face failure is constantly experienced because there are always new things coming up and there are always new things to learn. And that doesn't mean that when they are experienced, when they are in this industry for very long, they know everything. And that's when I come in, give them a young perspective, a new perspective, a less old perspective for them to consider. And it's another skill on persuasion really to get people to see from your perspective. I hope I answer your question.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Okay, I have one question here. Okay, now my turn. Okay, I have one question here. So I just want to ask. Okay, so in the journey of your entrepreneurship, right? Correct. I believe you face rejections. So how you manage the rejection? I mean, based on your this subconscious and conscious mind, and based on your energy. I mean, no, so that you can move on with that. So how do you manage your this mindset and all these things, because you're very new, so these are the challenges that you will face, right? Correct? How you manage it?
Somehow a lot of people have been asking me this question recently. um, it's First of all, rejection doesn't define you. I think everyone should know that when people say no to you, doesn't mean you are worthless or anything alike. And somehow I have been having this mindset when people reject me, it's just gonna go to the next step. Thank you, next. And I move on to the next person.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a question, the panel there, like what will you advise to give people who just started their entrepreneurship journey?
Oh.
Answer that.
Okay, so I will just repeat whatever I said just now, because I know Ivan is busy. He's really busy, and thank you, Ivan, for coming here. I gave two advices just now. One is, first, be yourself and understand where you are coming from and understand your intention in doing your work, your business, and from there you stand out in the market, because when you are being yourself, you are already different from the rest. And that's first advice. And second advice, I think you heard it so. Second advice is fail earlier, because when you fail earlier, that gets you practice more, and that gets you exploring different stuff and take effective action and grow from there. And when you fail earlier and sort of practice more afterwards, it will build your foundation in your business, and you can easily grow from there in long run.
Yourself.
I have a question. So I understand that having your own business or being a freelancer would mean that you have to be self-disciplined. So how do you recommend, or do you have any tips on maintaining self-discipline?
I only have one tip that served me the most. I realized it's very helpful when you set alarms. Like I know a lot of people schedule their days and they put in their calendars, like from this time to this time they do something, from this time to this time they do something, but somehow they are still on their phone, or somehow they are still doing other stuff that is not what they have scheduled. But when you actually put an alarm and when your phone actually rang, you would feel pressured to go to do the things that you have already scheduled, in terms, or rather just shy away from what you have scheduled. So I would say set alarms.
Okay, thank you.
Set you far.
I have a question to ask.
Yes.
What if you fail later? You said earlier, right? What if you fail later, at the later part in your life? Like those who are much older than you are quite young. What advice can you give to people who have failed in the later part of their life?
So I think this question is really about on how we face failure. I don't think this is a question that only the later stage.
Asier like or what?
Need some connection.
Yeah. Let's wait for him to come back.
I think people who are older actually is easier for them, because there is a study where like startup founders who are more successful are 50 and above. So got a connection, they got savings, and they know how a business operates or how corporate works, right? I think it's easier for them compared to younger people. My own personal view.
Let's wait for Asier to come back first. I can proceed. He's like advice seeking.
Sorry, I think my network was disconnected just
Oh,
now.
you're back. Okay, great. Okay, great.
I think I don't know where I ended just now, but
yeah, you repeat lah.
I was yeah, I was talking about how to face failure, and failure is something that everyone faces. It's not just at the later stage of my life people have to face, and I wouldn't even say that everyone has a good relationship in terms of failure. When they encounter failure, what is their immediate next step? Some people just end up not picking up from there, and some people could easily pick up from there. And the difference is really about managing your expectation and understand where we are going next. And there are a lot of books really out there in the market telling people how to manage your expectation when it comes to failure. But I would say the very simple trick or tips that I can even give to anyone is to really go back to your own vision. Go back to the very first why you are started doing your business, or you are started writing your book, for example, or you are aiming for your goal. Always look for the why. Always go back to your vision. Look for the compelling desire that has been driving you so far at that point of time until failures encounters you. When you go back, look at the big why, that's when you can derive more energy, more motivations, and fuels to keep you going to the next step. Yeah.
Did that answer your question, Diana?
Yeah, that answered my question. But I would like to give a simple reply. I would like to tell everybody, don't give up on what you want to do and just pursue on no matter what happens. Yeah, that's what I want to say.
Thank you. Any more questions? Maybe we can have the last question for Asier.
I have a question. Hello.
Hi.
Hello there. My name is Jason. So my question is, Asier, I love the way you do your business in copywriting, right?
Yeah.
So by the meantime, I'm doing my interest in video editing, as well as I pursue my hobbies like dancing or what. So I haven't exposed myself to the business world yet. So what advice can you give to me? It means I'm not yet. I'm still a student, but I have the feeling of interest towards this entrepreneurship.
Do you know why you want to start the business? Do you have
Not really. Not clear yet.
I would say if you have the interest and you are honing your craft at this juncture and you are thinking of getting into setting up a new business, I will first advise you to really understand why you are starting the business and why you want to get involved in this field of work before you actually decide to go into the market. And when you go into the market, just look for opportunities to practice your craft and look for more people. Look for, in other words, fail early. So when you fail early, you can then understand where you are, what are the areas that are not working and what are areas that work for you. And the other way is be yourself again. understand where you are coming from and who you are and what you really want to value add in other people's life, and then go do it.
Oh, because since I'm following my passion in doing my hobbies, which don't really get marketed to the people out there. So it really takes a lot of consume time lah to get people to know who am I, what I'm doing. That's all.
I think you can always ground yourself with asking questions, asking why you are doing the works you are doing. And that's when you will have the motivations, or you will have the energy to look for other people to help you. And don't be afraid of getting other people to help you. Like, I mean, the cliche, we are not alone in this world, because really there are a lot of people out there. They are waiting to support you. So, for example, I was doing this charity work, or these non-profit activities, and I encountered this person who actually told me that it's like, donation. Like, people actually don't know where they want to donate sometimes, and that is like they don't know where they can help other people. In other words, so trust me, if you really go out, look for mentor, expose yourself to more people, you would get a direction somewhere where people, I think they will be more than willing to guide you.
Yeah. Okay, thank you for that quick answer.
Yeah, so it goes back to why we started this channel initially. Also, is to inspire people and also share to each other. So it's about community to start out your entrepreneurship journey also. So any last thing you like to tell the audience that before we close out the session? Asier.
Thank you so much for coming, guys.
So
yeah,
Well done.
reach out to him. You don't have any. How do they reach out to you?
you can email me or check my website. It's called letterbuild.blog. Or you can get, I think Tony will send you guys, and yeah, a lot of people have my number, so do share with one another. Go ahead. And yeah, I think I will just post my email and my website in the chat in a bit, so you guys can look for me over there.
Yeah. Later, I will also post your website and your email on the event page, so that everybody can get access to you also. Yep.
Thanks, Tony.
No problem.
Thanks everyone. So do stay tuned to our next week. We have this sharing session with different speakers every week. Thank you. So we hope this session bring values to you. Thanks.
Thanks.
Have a good evening, everyone.
Yep.
Bye.
Yeah. See y'all.